If it's a business that you can't jump in and have a good amount of clientele, enough to make sure that you can keep the lights on, and not only keep the lights on with the business, but keep the lights on at home. If you can't do that, then that's not where your starting point should be.
Welcome to another episode. Let's go of Entrepreneurship Exposed, where we talk about everything related to entrepreneurship with a twist of business acquisitions. Hosted by your guy Beez, and again, we have an amazing guest today. And I love this guest in particular because of the fact what they did prior to even knowing anything about me, and what they did and their whole path in mergers and acquisitions. So go ahead and a warm welcome for Mr. TJ White. My guy, what's good, TJ? How you feeling?
I'm good. How you feeling?
Oh, I'm great, man. Always got to smile because, you know, we in this industry of mergers and acquisitions. It's the most fun investment strategy that I've ever experienced. So, you know, I'm always.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I agree.
Definitely. So, hey, thank you for showing up and coming on to this call, this episode. I'm looking forward for you to share your story because I think it can inspire a lot of people.
Oh, right? Sure.
So let's start with your history, where you came from, how you got into accounting and tax, how you got into where you are now, which all led up to your first acquisition as well.
Sounds good. So I'm gonna jump right in. I'm TJ, owner of True Blue Financials and Henderson Accounting.
Woo, let's go.
So, I'm originally from Miami. I'm Jamaican descent. I went to. Yeah, you already know. I went to the best HBCU ever, which is FAMU. Shout out to my Rattlers.
Oh, you about to cause some problems. People gonna be going in that.
Listen, I love all my HBCUs. I love all of them. But we're just the best.
Hey, I used to be at FAMU all the time, hanging out and whatnot back in the day. I was in Orlando at UCF, and I would just drive up, and my frat brothers was there. It was great.
Oh yeah.
We talk about that another time.
Doing homecoming.
Oh yeah. FAMU homecoming. Woo. Let's go.
And what? So yeah. Originally from Miami, went to FAMU, and I got into tax and accounting in an interesting way, if you will. When I was in college, I used to tutor 4th and 5th grade math at a Christian academy. I was always really good with math. But fast forward to when I moved to Atlanta, I actually moved here. My sister was like, hey, what you doing? What's your plans after I graduated? And I was like, I think I want to go back to school. And she was like, listen, if you want to move here to Atlanta, let me know. So I wound up in her basement, and very humble beginnings, but thank God my sister was there to, help me, through it. At the time of me getting into taxes, I had already had a production company where we was doing music videos, we were doing marketing material, stuff like that. And I was working at Verizon, as a matter of fact, customer service. I was doing customer service. And I had a good friend, his sister's boyfriend at the time. He was like, hey, you trying to make some extra money? And I was like, sure. And he was like, it's gonna be extra money doing taxes. And I was like, taxes? I'm like, man, usually people run away from doing those, I'm not sure if I want to do taxes. So he was like, all right, suit yourself. So a week later, I was invited to like a get together, if you will. And when I got there, he was like, TJ, come upstairs, let me show you something. So I went upstairs and he was showing me the trainings and how to prepare the tax. He was like, look, bro, this is not that hard. You just have to know a few things, but other than that, it's real easy. And I was like, you know what?
All right, guys, before we get into the full episode of Entrepreneurship Exposed, I just want to take a moment to thank you all for supporting this channel. This channel means so much to me. You all mean so much to me because this information is the type of things that I wish that I knew when I was like 17 years old, right? We're talking about wealth creation strategies, not plays. Never talking about, hey, we could run this quick play to make some quick money. This is all about sustainable strategies that won't go anywhere. Whatever else you may be doing, this information will supplement it and help you take it to a whole nother level. So what I would love to ask each and every one of you is if you could like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, do all of that for me. It supports the channel, it helps us to grow, helps us to get this information out to more people so that we could change more lives. So thank you again for supporting. Make sure that whatever you see in here, whatever you learn in here, that you go and execute on it. And then drop a comment and let me know how it went out for you. Hopefully I'll even see you in the BBI where I teach how to acquire businesses and everything about entrepreneurship. Let's go.
Let me give it a try. So that's what I did. That was 2010. That very next year, 2011, January, I started doing taxes. And I had 6 clients that year.
6 clients, okay.
6 clients.
How did you get those clients? Referrals?
So family members, referrals, just telling people at the job. And I had 6 for the first year. So not too bad, made a little bit of money. And come next year, I noticed, hold on, now I have 12 clients. So everybody done at least told one person, or one person turned into 2 people. So the next year I had 12. So I'm like, Next year I had 24. So what I noticed was my clientele was increasing, was doubling each year. So on that 3rd year, I was like, man, forget everything else. I'm gonna focus in on tax and accounting stuff. Yeah. So I actually met my mentor, and he helped me to get licensed in insurance and investments and stuff like that. So when I made my first dollar on the insurance side, that's when I was like, okay, I gotta quit Verizon and go into this full-fledged. And that's what I did. That year that I went full-fledged into tax and accounting, my clientele tripled that year.
Ooh.
Yeah,
okay.
It tripled.
You actively marketing to get clients, or how?
So I'm glad you asked that. So when I met and really quick, hopefully it's quick. Sorry for stories, but anyways, I was my original barber. His dad was getting ill and stuff like that, so he moved back home to North Carolina. So I seen this. I had a homeboy at the job, always came with a fresh cut, nice cut. So I asked him who his barber was. So long story short, I started going to his barber, and I was telling his barber, I was like, yeah, man, I've been doing taxes, and I really want to dig down deep into helping my clients. So, just me expressing that to him, he was like, TJ, I'm gonna introduce you to my buddy Errol. So he introduced me to Errol, and Errol was my mentor who helped me on the investment and insurance side. So when I met Errol, he, I used to wear polos and stuff like that. And he was like, TJ, listen, I need you to wear shirt and tie or suit.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't want you, when we meet clients, I need you to be more than presentable. Yeah. So, he taught me to work ropes on how to dress. He taught me the ropes on how to connect with people, how to network with people. And, the sky's the limit. Now, fast forward to now, I just did 3 life insurance policies and an annuity. So those things are rolling right now. But anyways, to take it back to the story, he introduced me to my second mentor, which was Arrow, and he was the one who actually, taught me how to network. So what I did was I was going to Rich Dad, Poor Dad events. I was going to every event that I can go to and showcasing my skill set. And that's actually how I acquired, a lot of, new people, as well as referrals. Very important. Referrals is very important with the taxes,
I love it. So the audience has heard me say this before. If they've watched any other episodes besides this. I have these 4 pillars of success, right? And it's also so it's like pillars, and then it has a foundation and then a roof, right? So it's like I built my house of success. Now the pillars, the first pillar is networking. I tell people all the time that I've made money from networking, not from running ads and stuff like that, but just I was networking, got into a partnership, met some clients who refer me to other clients, whatever it may be. Networking always took my business to another level. It's like little rocket fuel. It's like you pour a little rocket fuel on the fire, and then it's like, ooh, it just keeps going.
Oh yeah, exactly. Right? Yep.
I see we have a special guest in the audience right now. Look at that right there. She's gonna be on here too, but with this call. So next
right.
We
missed this one, but she'll be on the next one for sure.
but so networking is the first pillar. Leaving some people behind is the second pillar, because that's like you got to surround yourself with the right people, but you got to actively leave some people behind. You can still love them, you still family, friends, whatever, but they're not on the same journey as you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Then third is you got to buy seats at tables. You was like, I ain't just gonna sit here and wait for everybody to come to me. I'm gonna pay to go to this Rich Dad, Poor Dad networking event, this conference, this, that. And while I'm there, I'm gonna do the first pillar. I'm gonna network, right?
Exactly.
And I ain't bring my homeboy and my buddy with me who's gonna, be like, I don't like this and blah, blah. I only went with people who were also driven and trying to network and do things. So you left some people behind.
Exactly.
But while you buy seats and tables and you're networking while you're there and you left some people behind, you also got to build your own table, right?
Yeah.
So as you start networking with people, you start connecting with people, you start creating partnerships and doing more and more, right? Yep. So you build your own table, and then the foundation is financial literacy. Because you do all these other things, you don't know what to do with the money, and it ain't gonna go far.
Exactly.
And then the final roof is always seeking new knowledge. Right? Because I'm sure, I'm going to assume you didn't think about starting the tax business until it came to you. Then you started seeking more knowledge about it and was like, yo, I'm going all in on this.
Yep.
Then I'm going to assume you didn't know about, well, let me go buy one too. And then you seek that knowledge, bought into that table with I know who. And then that led to something else. Yep. So, I think that those pillars of success, that house of success is extremely important. I think you live in it, a living testament for it.
Oh yeah. It's a blessing, man. Oh yeah.
Okay, so that's how you got into this space overall, right? Yep. But what you're here today for is to help us expose why you can 10x your existing business with mergers and acquisitions.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people I speak to, they say things like, oh, Beez, I love what you're talking about, but I already got a business. I'm just, I don't think I'm going to buy one. I already built one. I just want to keep building. I just want to grow it. But I tell people that, the way that the large companies grow their business is by acquiring another one, rolling it up into it. And then now you got economies of scale and you got, much more.
Exactly.
Right? So talk about that a bit. How did you get into first even learning about, hey, I could buy another one, and what started that process for you?
Okay, so I went to a tax and accountant conference. It was in Orlando. It was by her name is Krista, and blew my mind. So, and I did this maybe 2 years ago. So with that tax conference, I actually won 2 awards. But what I made sure I did, to go back to the pillars, is I bought the seat. So I purchased VIP.
There you go.
with VIP, it gave me access to the fireside chat, and it also put me in the room with everybody that was doing really well with their practice. So not only did I had to go back to the networking, meeting new people. A lot of these people, you know, with their practice, they're making over $1 million, you know, have 3 and 4 and 5 locations. So, you know, I'm talking with people, and one of the dudes, he asked me, he was like, TJ, so what's your process? What's your systems and your processes? So I told him, and he was like, I'm not saying that anything is wrong with it, but you're going to burn out because you're doing most of the work. He said, do it like this. So he said the way he ran his was like a McDonald's. He said he had somebody at the register, he had somebody making the sandwiches, and then you have somebody flipping the burgers and, you know, handling the meat. So that's what I did. And that next year, that process was a lot smoother with my first location.
Yeah.
Right. So, but those relationships and those conversations that I had with everyone now put on my mind, hey, I need, not only do I need to have my systems and processes together, but I also need to look into acquisitions. So after that, you know, that was in my mind, implanted in my mind. After that, I was watching Social Proof Podcast.
Right? My guy, Dave Shands.
Yep, David Shands. That goes back to the education. Always listen.
Seeking new knowledge.
You have to always be growing your skill set. Yep. You have to always be searching for knowledge, because not only can you help yourself, especially with all the things that I do on the financial side, the taxes side, acquisition side, I'm able to help my clients to do the same exact thing. So I watched the episode where he was talking to Mark Golden, and he was talking to Mark Golden about acquisitions, right? So, man, that podcast blew my mind, right? So it blew my mind. I told my wife, I was like, listen, babe, you got to watch this podcast. She said, okay, I was like, no. Matter of fact, let's watch it now. So, and I was like, I will watch it again. Yeah. So she watched it with me, and she was like, she was blown away as well. So around this time, we was coming up on the tax season. Yeah. And I was like, listen, Mark Golden, he has that Find Fun Flip challenge, but I'm not going to be able to do it. You know, this tax season is really taxing on me, because I still like to do a lot of the work, if you will. But anyways, so she was like, you know what? I'll do it.
There you go.
She said, I will do it. She was so compelled to where she said, I'll do this. I'll do the Find Fun Flip challenge. And I was like, okay, make sure you pay for VIP.
There you go.
So we did that. Man, he's not charging enough. He's not charging enough, because the information and the mentorship that I got from Mark allowed us to, within a year's time, 1 year. And the only reason why it took a year was because the first business that we were going to buy, the seller backed out.
Ooh, yeah, that happened.
Yep, the seller backed out. So
real quick, shout out to my team, because I forgot the episode number, but they said check out Beez on Social Proof Podcast as well, episode 152.
Yes. Oh yeah. Make sure y'all go watch that, man. Yeah, so, you know, so we gained a relationship with Mark. He mentored us through that first acquisition. And, here we are. Now I have 2 locations. So I actually doubled, because one of my locations had about 400 clients. The second location has around the same amount of clients. And then we have, on that side, 30 bookkeeping clients.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you doubled your client base and revenue, I would assume, within just from one acquisition.
Yep, just from the
within
acquisition.
that year, one acquisition. Now I've gone through acquisitions that I've completed in as short as like a month or two, depending, the terms and the contract ready pretty quickly, but then due diligence just take a little bit longer. And then I've also gone in some that fell through and then came back almost like 9 months later, and then we're still talking. And some people feel that, wow, that's a year. It takes a whole year, but that's a year to double your revenue and start expanding your business without you having to do anything.
Exactly.
That's powerful.
Listen. I recommend. Okay, so here's my thing, right? If it's a passion or something that is not out there, then I can understand you starting from scratch. But
I would say no. I would say no with that. Sorry to interject, but let me say
no, interject.
Because I get a lot of people that come to me and they from back in the day, they would always say, Beez, man, I know you in the business, an entrepreneur, and I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to start a business, but I just want to follow my passion. So I would tell them, if you're trying to follow your passion, will your passion pay the bills? Right? Because building a business about your passion, it may not pay the bills. Why not build something that's a proven business model that you have a little bit more growth that you can count on, and then use that money to then fund your passion later.
I agree.
But if you're going to acquire a business, because I only acquire cash flowing businesses. Some people acquire distressed ones. But if you're going to acquire a business, why not acquire the business that you're passionate about?
Yep.
Acquire your passion. If you are passionate about golf, I got a bunch of golf cart manufacturing companies that billboard right now, and somebody would be interested.
Yep.
So that's my thought on it. It's like, if it's an acquisition, you can go right to your passion. You can even work in it because you choose to. I don't want to work in nothing, so I won't do it. But when you're starting it from scratch, ain't that easy to just follow the passion.
Right. And I agree with you 100%. I tell my clients this all day. If it's a business that you can't jump in and have a good amount of clientele, enough to make sure that you can keep the lights on, and not only keep the lights on with the business, but keep the lights on at home. If you can't do that, then that's not where your starting point should be. If you're trying to chase that, like you said, chase that after you have foundation.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, the only way for me to get into another business now that my eyes are open is an acquisition.
Definitely, especially a cash flowing one, because it could be passive for you. Because if it's cash flowing, you just hire the team. You got to get good at putting a team together. That's what you're gonna have. That's the only new thing you're gonna have to start doing. Yeah. Because you don't know nothing about I don't know. I always just reach for anything that's near me. This is the cap for the camera. So let's say there's a place that's manufacturing these caps and you don't know nothing about that industry. It doesn't matter, because if you're acquiring a business and cash flowing and in operations for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, all you gotta do is use some of that revenue to hire the staff that's going to run it. And you're just operating above the business as an investor instead of on it as a CEO. Man. And instead of in it, self-employed or an employee. That's the key. Since you mentioned Rich Dad Poor Dad, I had to bring up the cash flow quadrant.
Right, for sure. Listen, it's just, man, dealing with having to be there every day is different. you know? So that's why it's important, just like Beez said, to make sure that you can manage some people. And then once you get to a point where you're done with managing the people, you can step out as a CEO and then hire a CEO to handle it. But listen, when
CEO is just another job.
Exactly.
I want that.
Exactly. Listen. When I met Beez, he blew my mind. He blew my mind on the things that we can do. And I know we'll probably get into that a little later, but you know, with the criteria, making sure you have a criteria.
Acquisition criteria. Yep.
Yes, because turnkey is the way to go.
Yep, 100%. And if you're going to try to acquire something, but the numbers don't make sense in the way that you know you could be turnkey in it, it's making money, but it's going to require you to work every day in it. You gotta make that decision if that's what you want. I don't want it. I don't think TJ. So
me neither.
There we go. Okay. So now you went the traditional route of acquiring a business.
Yep.
You used the SBA 7A loan.
7A loan. Yes, sir.
How was that whole process for you?
Woo! It was a process.
Yes, sir.
You know, profit and losses, balance statements, all that stuff had to be together. That's why it's really important to make sure you have bookkeeping, an accountant to help you with those things. Because if not, then you'll probably be trying to write everything off, you know, which makes you look bad on paper, if you will.
Yeah. Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So you have to show a profitable business in order to show, hey, I can pay for this loan that you're giving me. So making sure that your books are good. Financial projections, man, I had to hire lawyers, I had to hire CPAs, I had to hire, you know, a team of people to help me through this process. And thank God my wife is awesome. So, you know, she was doing a lot of the follow-up, which, you know, like I said, she's awesome, man. She helped out with a lot of the tedious things that needed to be done.
True that. We like that's a good partnership right there.
Oh yeah.
In life and in business. So I know how you feel with that, man. And SBA, you can utilize the SBA 7A loan to your advantage. Not just the fact that you're getting the loan to cover the cost of acquiring a business, but also the fact that they do due diligence for you. Right? Yeah. So you still want your accountants and financial team doing some financial due diligence. You still want your attorneys doing the legal due diligence and crafting the agreements and such. But at the same time, the SBA, they want to make sure that they're giving you money for a good deal.
Exactly.
So they're going to evaluate it for you also.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep. And that's what I was telling one of my good friends who now I have him interested in purchasing the business now. A transportation business. And that's what I was telling him. I was like, bro, I'm gonna be on EntrepreneurshipXposed. So I'll learn how to do it without the SBA through Beez. Yet the SBA is gonna dot every I and cross every T.
Yeah.
They're gonna pull transcripts, they're gonna go through the whole underwriting process to make sure it's a sound business that you're purchasing.
Make sure it's a sound business that they're giving you money for. Now, they don't care about what you purchasing. They just care that you could pay them back. So they want, you know, but so yeah, it makes sense, especially if someone is, I'm just so nervous. And if they don't tap in with someone like me to learn how to acquire a business, or they don't tap in with someone like Mark Golan to learn how to acquire a business, then go through the SBA route, because the SBA will help make sure that you're in good standing on your acquisition. Mm-hmm. But now we're going to go to the other side of things. You know, I don't mess with the SBA anymore. Yeah. Right? Not only is there limitations on how much they can give you, but there's also so much paperwork, and they extend the process really long, but they're doing their due diligence and stuff. And, you know, I go the route of LBO, leveraged buyout. Now, the leveraged buyout, you can incur debt in the business to pay for the acquisition itself. Mm-hmm. And I could avoid the banks completely if I wanted to, right? And there's times I include the bank, but it may not be an SBA 7A loan. I may just get something else from the bank to help to go towards a down payment.
Right.
That's it. Then, and I can use that based on other existing entities that I have, get funding in that, or funding on inside of the entity I'm trying to acquire. That's a little trick that I'm giving everybody right now, only because TJ is here. I've done it many times. When you acquire a business, they're supposed to give it to you debt-free, right? Was that the case for you too, TJ?
You timed out a little bit, but can you repeat that?
When you acquire a business, they're supposed to give it to you debt-free.
Yeah.
No debt in the business. They're supposed to pay off the debt. Right?
Exactly. Yes.
Well, what I do, I have them incur some debt in the business, and then I assume that debt.
Okay.
So let's say it was a $1 million business, and let's say they had a $500,000 EIDL loan, and they were like, "Oh, don't worry, we're gonna pay it off before the sale is completed, whatever, blah blah." I said, "No, don't pay it off. Let's go through the paperwork so I can assume it. We have to become the new beneficiary on it, but I'll assume the loan. Now I only got to pay you $500,000, and we're gonna stack that with other things, some seller financing and other stuff." Right. But that $500,000 EIDL loan, that's like the best loan you can have. The lowest interest rate, the best repayment terms, longer to pay it off, blah, blah, blah. And who gonna pay that off? The business.
Right.
So I reduce the price of the business by $500,000, assume that debt, and then I know the business can service the debt because I saw the financials beforehand.
Right.
That's just a very small way of doing it, but this is why I prefer to avoid the SBA.
But that's a nugget, man. I don't want to breeze over that. So let me get this right. You said assume the debt, and then now what you have to pay the seller goes down by that amount. Exactly.
And I don't want to get too deep in it because I got to explain the context around it. But if let's say they didn't have no EIDL loan. Let's say I was buying something that it was a $1 million business, but they happen to have $800,000 in inventory. Let's say it was something like e-commerce or I don't know, whatever it was, but they had $800,000 worth of inventory included in the price. I'm going to say, okay, let's put debt in the business. You've had your banks for the last 20 years. Your banks are familiar with your operations. You could get a loan in the business based on your revenue and your inventory, because that's an asset. It's worth $800K. Leave that. Now you turn over the business to me. You can take the cash, and then the business will pay it back later. So now I just got a business for $200,000 because I ain't had to pay that $800,000. Now there's ways there's more context around it because you gotta do a couple of things first before this can work. But I've done this a couple of times too. But you listen, guys. If y'all have not taken advantage of Entrepreneurship Exposed, y'all need to. Well, BBI is the main place where they're gonna learn it. Entrepreneurship Exposed talking about it, but the Business Builders Institute, BBI, this is the place to learn about leverage buyouts, traditional buyouts, and wealth building and entrepreneurship in general, for sure. A good friend of mine, he's an expert in creating trust. And he kept saying, "All right, Beez, you show me how to get the bag, and I'm gonna show you how to keep it."
Right.
That's the type of things we also talk about in the BBI. It's not just how to go make that wealth, but we gotta know how and how to pass that information down to our kids, because it's not just about passing money to them, it's about passing information on how to make it and how to keep it.
Exactly, Mundo. Exactly. And I'm familiar with that as well. Very important to understand those type of structures. I actually have on retainer tax lawyers and lawyers that handle trust as well. And, just a simple structure that can change your whole financial situation is having a trust on the S corp
hold the holding company as an S corp.
Yeah. The holding company, which is the S corp, and then that S corp will own the LLCs that you have.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
That's how it goes.
So yeah, man.
It's
Very powerful.
And you know, the key thing there, I might have told you this in the conversation we had before, but the key thing is that the United States of America is not a country, it is a corporation.
It is.
Because it's a corporation, the laws are written to benefit corporate entities.
Yep.
And because of that, we need to learn how to use the corporate entities to our advantage.
Right.
And that always leads me into the example of Donald Trump, how he buried his ex-wife on one of his golf courses because he learned that they would give him tax savings and he couldn't be seized by the government, by the FBI or anything like that. All these things. But he didn't do anything wrong. He just used the laws to his advantage for that.
And that's important. That's why, as it relates to taxes, financials, business, you want to lean on an expert because with those type of things, what you don't know will hurt you. So it's very important to know the different tax laws that you can take advantage of. You know, a lot of people, I'll go through just one right now. We have what we have in our industry called tax harvesting. So for my people who they invest in stocks and stuff like that, what you can do is you can sell your losing stocks before the end of the year, and then you'll be able to take up to $3,000 of a loss on your taxes. You know? Okay. Yeah. So let's just say you have some losing stocks, and even if you want to keep those stocks, wait 2 months to buy it back. But you can sell it before the end of the year, and now that loss of $3,000, it's a cap of $3,000 a year. Let's just say you have $6,000 worth of losses. Well, guess what? You got $3,000 next year, and then you got $3,000 the next year.
Oh, you can carry it over too.
Yeah.
If you got, man. Here we go. You see, these are the things that we got. This is why we always got to seek new knowledge.
Yeah.
Seeking knowledge. So. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay. We have to go into pop now. We got to pop this entire thing. This whole concept of, 10Xing and scaling your business through mergers and acquisitions, right? How we break it down for the audience. Yep. So we kind of been talking about it already, but what would you say are the pros of 10Xing your business or just scaling your business through acquiring another?
Man, the pros are you're going to be able to, you see how you have people who doing a whole bunch of pushing, marketing. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Nothing wrong with marketing. But why not acquire a business that already had the clientele? Like I was talking about before, I didn't have to do any marketing. I had to do none of that. And now my clientele doubled because of the acquisition that I did. Right?
Imagine how much you would have to pay in ads and stuff like that in order to get to that same level. Right.
And I think I had to come up with like $30,000, but like I said, I basically in this acquisition 2x'd my business, and it's the sky's the limit now. Now that I've done that, I'm actually gonna do another 2x, but this time the first X is 800 instead of 400. So now starting with 800 clients, and the next practice that I purchased has to have 800 or more. And we're talking about doing that within. My wife was like, she was already saying, hey, we need to look into buying another business. Before the dust settled on this one, she's talking about buying another one.
That's what's up. I love her.
So I would say that acquisition and mergers are one of the best ways to increase your clientele.
Definitely. And then the thing about it is, it's one thing, because somebody could say, yeah, but I can spend money on increasing the clientele too, just through marketing. So you spend some money and I can spend some money, and maybe it's not exact amount. Say somebody said that. But the other thing is, you get their processes of how they've been doing it too. So now you can improve. You also get more staff to handle everything instead of you having to go vet through hiring more staff and scaling that way, right? There's a lot that comes with it when you acquire a new business. The history, the processes, the employees, the obviously the clients, and so much more. All right, so so now let's get into the opportunities. What opportunities do you know of that exist or that are coming up as to why, this is the best time that you should be trying to scale your current business through acquiring another one?
So the opportunity, one of the good opportunities is right now, you have a lot of baby boomers. And you can talk about that, Beez. Right now, we have a lot of baby boomers that are selling their business. They don't have anybody that they can pass the business down to. So they're like, okay, you know what? Let me retire. So that's actually my situation. The seller, she was retiring, Her husband owned the business. Her husband passed away probably about 4 years ago. And now she's like, you know what? I'm trying to get out. And I was like, hey, bring it this way.
We helping people, but we helping ourselves too. You know what I'm saying? Because you're 100% right to say that is the most important opportunity. Mm-hmm. There is the largest wealth transfer in history is about to happen. Yeah. And when you just think about the amount of wealth in the entire world, I don't know this exact number worldwide, but I'm highly sure that 90% of them or more are small business. Mm-hmm. Of that percent that is small business, 2/3 or more are probably owned by baby boomers who are aging out. All baby boomers are retiring this decade. Mm-hmm. And what they gonna do with their business? There's not enough people who know you can even buy one. Even those who know it, there's not enough people who say, okay, I'm actually gonna do it. Yeah. And there's more and more businesses come for sale every day. So we have those buyers, those who do know that they can buy it, and other people like you and I, we have all the leverage. We have the what do you call it? The pick of the litter.
Yep.
So exactly. Perfect opportunity for sure.
Yep. Oh yeah.
So, but now we gotta go to the most important part, because everybody always wants to know, oh, this sounds great, but I need to know some of the negatives too. Everything got some negatives. That is true. For example, I tell people, if you acquire businesses, the best head start you could get. Yes. But can there be problems after you acquire it? Of course there can. There could be a global pandemic that comes and shuts down your business. We didn't expect that, but that happened to everybody, whether you acquired it or built it. So anything can still happen. It's still business, but at least you get a better head start. So what would you say is one of the main problems that you've seen since acquiring your first business?
One of the problems that I had was the seller just not wanting to go anywhere,
Yes.
So the seller was supposed to stay on for about 2 weeks, and they stayed on for about 3 months, So we had
good and bad, right? Like, it helps you to transition, but then sometimes they still look at it as their baby. Exactly. They've been growing it all this time, so it's hard for them to detach from it.
Exactly. So I could say that that's one of the problems, just the seller wanting to detach, because me and my team, we have a certain way that we flow, right? And the seller, they had a certain way that they flow. So, both of us under one roof every day, it's too many cooks in the kitchen, if you will. So while it was good to have that support, and we still have that support where, we can give her a call and, if something may come up that she can help on. But for the most part, sell a business, move out the way, and let the new owners come in and put their stamp on it, And with me, it's not really about, because like Beez said, it's some things that I learned from the second business. It's some things that I learned from that business that now I can apply it to my first location, right? So So yeah, it's definitely things that you can learn. Yeah, in this case, you know, too many cooks in the kitchen. We had to have a meeting with the seller, like, hey, let's come up with a date that you'll be totally out of the office. If we didn't do that, she would have been coming in every day. You know,
you gave her expiration date. Like,
yes, we had to.
So I'll add one problem to the list too. It seems more like you acquired and then you have a second location, and it's kind of still self-sufficient and independent, separate from your first location.
Yep.
You didn't roll it up under the same umbrella name and, you know, really merge the companies. It's just multiple locations. Am I correct?
I'm glad you said that. The SBA, they wanted us to, at least for the first 2 years, keep the same name, keep the same location, because they didn't want there to be too much churn, what we call churn, where the clients are falling off because, hey, yeah, you know, a new owner acquired the location and they're changing a whole bunch of stuff. So I guess they're trying to avoid that as much as possible. Yeah. So yeah, we still kept it as the same name, and we managed the location separate. Yeah, eventually there's going to be a merger. So here's the thing, though, right? My first location is in a nice corporate building. You know, you pull up, you see the corporate building with the nice windows around it, and that's my style.
Yeah.
The second location is a brick and mortar type in a plaza location. While that's not my style, I really appreciate that, seeing that side of it, because it's more walk-ins. It's more walk-ins. Where I'm located, it's a gas station in the plaza. We have Walgreens across the street. We have Publix across the other street. So it's a really good location to have walk-ins. And so while it's different, I do appreciate having that walk-in type situation.
Yeah, and that might direct your strategy going forward of the types that you want to acquire next, like which ones are more beneficial in which locations, which cities or states, whatever it may be. That's definitely good insight. And what's also good insight that you mentioned about the SBA, that's another thing I almost forgot about, that they do put some laws down on certain things, like, hey, we need you to do this, hey, we need you to do that. This is why I don't go with the SBA anymore, but it has its benefits, of course. Yeah. But the other problem I would say about scaling your business through mergers and acquisitions is that the acquisitions, the failure rate of acquisitions is like 2%. Ooh. However, the failure rate of mergers is way higher. Not as high as a start, but it's definitely higher. And the reason why is because when it's a merger, you got to bring two companies together, the people, systems, the processes together under one umbrella. And if you're going to create franchises or whatever it may be, it's all together. And there's a lot of risk when you're doing that because, which manager you got to let go of then, because that one got the better manager, and that means you're going to let go of this one and all those things, right? So merger gets a little bit more tricky, and that's a problem to be aware of. But no matter what, it's still better than starting a business from scratch overall. So TJ, you just helped us to pop the entire concept of scaling your business through M&A, right? Now we got a little gift for you.
Okay.
he's like, oh, well, let's go. He's like, the price is right. Team, do we have the gift ready? If we do, I think it's time we're gonna put it on the screen. Okay, here we go. All right, so look, let's see what we found here. Let's zoom in a little bit. Now, I did this obviously without asking you, so I didn't know what your preference was, but I know you're in tax and accounting and such. And it's not just about scaling your existing business by acquiring the same exact type of business. Sometimes people scale adjacent businesses so that they can do horizontal integration or vertical integration based on, things that's related to their business.
Right.
So this one, profitable accounting firm asking 1.4, real estate's included. So 1 million, wait, real estate's included. Bro, I'm about to get this before you then. I'm playing, but I got to double check that part. I can't believe that real estate is valued at 1 million and it's included.
Right.
For a 1.4 asking price. But if that's the truth, woo, go for this right away. I'll tell you that right now. Because then you get two asset classes. You get the business and you get real estate. But okay, let's pretend it's not included. Let's pretend that it's at an additional price of 1 million. Let's just say that. So 1.4 million asking price, grossing 1.4 also, and they keep 500 a year. There's only about 7 employees in this one, and it's 10 years old. Is this something you would be interested in?
Yes.
Okay. All right, well, as I said, this is a gift. I'm going to give you all the details.
Okay.
It's not a gift I'm going to buy it for you on that night. I'm giving you the lead because your eyes just opened up wide a second ago. I was like, wait, hold on.
Yes.
You going to buy it? You just get it.
Right.
But I'm going to give you all the contact information. You're welcome. Reach out to them yourself and execute directly. You can use SBA if you're still within the limits. Or if you want to learn how to do an LBO and potentially get this without having to go through SBA or any loans, then you're welcome to join the BBI where we teach it. Yes. And there's also the option in Capital Beez, my other company, where we do it for people, where we can work with you and get this done for you using those strategies like LBOs.
Right.
So this is my gift to you, man. I think we might have one more, but if it's not ready right now, I'm gonna just send it to you directly later on. Team, do we have it available? If we do, then come on in. Let's see what they said. Nope. Okay, it's not available yet. So that second one, I'll make sure I get to you directly, if anything.
Man, I appreciate that 1,000%.
No problem. I love seeing, especially people in our community that realize that, yes, we can acquire businesses and take things to a whole nother level. Shout out to Mark Golden, good friend of mine. He comes in it from the broker perspective and the traditional way of doing it, which is powerful. But he loves the fact that I'm, doing the LBOs, and he's like, man, this is like a whole other level. So
it is. Man, I was blown away by our first conversation about it. I was like, what? Really?
For sure. Oh, we got a question in the audience real quick. I want to see if you can answer it. How long did it take for your entire SBA process for your acquisition?
So to be honest, it actually took 6 months. Like I said, I was I was meeting with another seller, and I went to the location. I looked at their books, all that, and the seller backed out. So there go my wife saying from October to May.
Oh, so that's like 7 months. Yep, around that. She knows exactly the date. She knows.
Oh yeah. Listen, shout outs to my wife, man. She's on point, 1,000%. But about 6 to 7 months.
Okay. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not gonna complain about the SBA. It started off well for me that way, but then I quickly went away from it, and I'm able to close a deal in 3 months potentially, or sooner sometimes, because it's just more flexible, a lot more easy. And the way that I'm able to convince sellers of things is, I'm not a car salesman trying to get over on them. I'm telling them they're better opportunities. TJ got me giving out all my nuggets today, so I'm gonna give one more. Right. One of the first things that I teach in the BBI is that I ask the seller, what's more important to you? More cash up front, or saving on your tax liabilities for the cash that you would get? That always makes them be like, wait, oh damn, I didn't even think about that. Now you could easily pay 30% on capital gains tax or more, right? So then I say, they give me their answer. Oh, well, yeah, I do want some cash right up front. I just want to go buy this boat, blah, blah, blah. But, I want to save on taxes. So I might say, okay, well, how about we buy the boat for you? Give me 30 days after acquisition. I got a deal. I got a connection for one of these blank, blank, blank boats. And I know you really like those and you haven't been able to find one. I'll get it for you. Oh, cool. It cost $500,000 for that. So now we reduce the price of the acquisition by the cost of the boat. And then I say, okay, and then on the remaining portion that we got to pay you, how about we do a little owner carry, seller financing? And they're like, I don't know if I want to do that. Well, here's the thing. Seller financing technically is a loan.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm paying you back a loan, there's no taxes on the loan.
Nope.
If you charge me interest, you got to pay taxes on the interest.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just let me pay you over time, it's as a loan, you don't got to pay the capital gains tax.
Right.
And who paying that?
Right.
Me, the business. Exactly. So you see how I just did that? I'm just, structuring things in their favor. I make sure the seller always gets what they want, get paid, they getting their cash. I just do it in ways that it doesn't have to come out of my pocket.
Right. Oh yeah. That's second to none. You can't get that. You can't get that anywhere else. There we go. So that's why everybody need to lock in for BBI.
Yes,
I'm about to lock in for BBI.
Yes, let's go. Join the family.
Because SBA is cool, but I need to know what else is out there.
For sure. When you do join BBI, I got to tell you about what we're doing with insurance plans, since you're in that realm as well. Mm-hmm. What we're doing with insurance plans and acquisitions. How we using infinite banking structures to be able to benefit the seller to not have to pay out of our pocket through multiple ways. And I'm talking about for bigger deals too.
Right.
I'm talking about if you look into what I think it was the University of Michigan did with Coach Harborough. Okay. If I remember correctly, you'll see something similar. And we'll talk about that in the BBI.
For sure.
But let's go. So TJ, here's the thing, man. I got one last thing I want to talk to you about, and we're going to wrap it up. And I have a challenge going on. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I ever mentioned this challenge to you since we've spoken already, right? Mm-hmm. But this challenge is called the $1 Trillion Table Challenge. And with the $1 Trillion Table Challenge, at the end of this decade, I want to sit in a room at a table with people that look like us, other people who are acquiring businesses and other things, real estate and such. And we have $1 trillion collective assets under management. I ain't talking about cash in the pocket. I'm talking about we own portfolios of businesses. We own portfolios of real estate. We own Forex and crypto portfolios. All of these to get together, we have $1 trillion AUM. Now that number sometimes scares people. $1 trillion? How are we going to do that? Listen, by next year, I'm on point to have over 200 million AUM. That does not mean cash in my pocket. Just means I control portfolios of businesses and other things that will equate to that.
Right.
Will you be at that table with me, TJ?
I'm there. I'm there. I'll be waiting in the parking lot.
Yeah. We pulling up and he there sleeping already.
Yes, exactly. Oh yes. Man, listen, I'm all for those type of things, man.
Well, TJ, man, this has been a great conversation, my brother. Thank you so much. I love what you and Yannick have done, and I think that y'all are inspirational to so many more people. You got to tell your story more for sure. And keep growing, my brother. Keep doing things, big things. I look forward to seeing you in the BBI. I'm going to show you how to acquire a large business with no money out of your pocket. I'm going to show you how to acquire like a $20 million business with no money out of your pocket. It's actually easier to do that than it is to do the smaller ones. So
I'm here for it.
Let's go. Now, tell the people the best way to reach you, to connect with you. How can they do that?
The best way to reach me is Instagram, True Blue Financials. You can see a picture of me probably with a pose. But yeah, True Blue Financials on pretty much all social media is True Blue Financials. Just hit me with a DM and let's work.
Let's get it. Sounds good. Sounds good. So we'll make sure we drop that down in the description for everybody to be able to reach out to you. TJ, again, thank you. Yannick, thank you as well. She in the audience right now. Appreciate you. Appreciate you both. Looking forward to having you as members of the family, the BBI family, and we're going to take things to a whole nother level. Yeah, everybody in the audience, y'all already know what's up. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Make sure you're subscribed on all podcast platforms. Make sure if you're on YouTube, you turn on that notification bell, or else you may miss conversations like this with TJ and Yannick and so much more. And we will have Yannick on the call the next time. So be sure to not miss that. You guys can tap in with TJ and True Blue Financials for sure to take your tax requirements to a whole nother level too.
Yeah.
Thank you, my brother. And I will see you soon. And we're going to talk more about some of those deals I got for you. The one that I put up.
Let's do it, man. The pleasure is mine. I appreciate you for having me on.
For sure, my brother. All right, everybody. We'll see you on the next episode of Entrepreneurship Exposed, where we expose everything related to entrepreneurship with a twist of business acquisitions. Let's go.